That's all right. I'm getting the gist of it.
Yeah, the good news is I can do it again. So you know, my dad will always ask questions and never give me answers. You can do the same thing with your clients, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you go to now you'll have this recorded. So now when you go and sit down, you say, listen, I'd love to socialize, but here's the thing. I know your time is valuable and time is money, and I want to get right to the point and make this meeting really valuable to you. I have two questions that I'd like to be able to discuss with you. The first one is, what keeps you up at night about lenders? You know, what are the challenges that you face and all that kind of stuff? And the second one is, what criteria do you use to select the people that you work with for lending? Right. So tell me, what keeps you up at night? And so you've set the agenda, and then you go back and revisit item one and say, so tell me, I really would like to hear what causes you frustration, what keeps you up at night, what pisses you off when you're working with a lender and they're just not doing it the way you need them to do it. Tell me about that. And then listen. The other thing that almost nobody ever does, I always bring my journal to a meeting like that, and I say, someone once told me a short pencil is better than a long memory, and I don't have either, so I'm gonna use my pen and make notes. Is that okay? Do you mind if I make notes? I don't want to forget anything you say. That immediately sends the message to them that what they're saying, you consider what they're saying important.
Yeah.
Right. And then you just bullet point, just notes, and then you feed it back to them. So what I wrote down was, you know, blah, blah, blah. Is that right? And sometimes you get it wrong, and that's okay, because they're like, wow, this guy cares enough to like make sure he gets it right. Right.
Yeah.
And then
that's good.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. I haven't put that into play yet.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes the other person a little awkward or nervous because it's so just not the norm?
I wouldn't, if the answer is yes, I wouldn't say enough to, only because it's a surprise.
Yeah.
Because it's a bad thing. They're like, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Okay. You know, like the first reaction is kind of like, I've never seen that before. And then the secondary reaction is like, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about it. The other thing too is the tools that you use, sadly, you know, the cars that we drive and the houses that we live in, people judge us. And the tools that we use as well. So a nice pen, it doesn't have to be a Mont Blanc or anything, but a nice pen, not a big throwaway, and a leather bound journal. If these are like $5 at an office supply store, they're not, but if you have just a yellow pad of paper and they know that you can tear that off and throw that in the trash and never know what it is again, right? But this sends a message that what you're saying to me, I'm going to keep this.
Yeah.
The one thing you'll never see in anybody's trash is a book. Nobody throws books away. They just don't. They'll give them to somebody. They'll go way out of their way to give them to somebody else. Please take my book because I can't throw this in the trash. Something about it is, that's sinful. For some reason, it just, people can't throw books away. Have you ever thrown a book away?
I don't think I have, no.
It's weird.
I'm throwing yellow pad papers away.
Yeah, it's weird. So this looks an awful lot like a book. And so again, the subliminal benefit, the subliminal message is this guy's actually going to take notes in a book that he's going to keep, right? It's going to not go in the trash. It's not a Post-it note. So again, we're talking about a level of sophistication, and we're talking about a level of professionalism that I heard someone once say a long time ago, I think it was Napoleon Hill actually, he said, don't dress for the job that you have, dress for the job that you want.
Oh, yeah.
And it might have been in Dress for Success. I read that book many, many years ago too. But it's the same thing. What you want to look like you make a lot of money before you do. And so it's part of the law of attraction. So that's just, again, it's a little thing. It's subtle, but it sends a message. there's a term that I've been using for a long time called the distinction of difference. And whenever possible, I try to have a distinction of difference. So when people are dealing with me, you know, they can say to somebody, you know, what's different about Don? He does this, or he, you know, he writes everything down, and so he doesn't have to remember it. And when I talk to him a month later or 3 months later, he reminds me of what I said that I forgot. Try that. So I'm making an impression like that, right? Don reminds me of the things I forgot that I said. So it's especially with realtors, because with a client, you may never get them another mortgage, but with the people that you're doing business with constantly, like realtors, this makes a huge impact.
Yeah, and it's good. I don't have a long memory, so even just to remember what we talked about would be good.
Yep.
So it's not just the appearance of the professionalism, it's just a good practice for me. I'm definitely going to benefit from that. So
yeah, and one more thing, again, for the distinction of difference, is when you get back to the office, open your journal and send them an email that says, thanks for taking your valuable time. I do appreciate you meeting with me today. I just wanted to recap what we talked about.
okay.
And you bullet point it. Nobody does that.
Yeah, I'll usually send a thank you card, but I like that.
Yeah.
And
if thank you cards work for you, that's great. You could put them in there as well. But if you send a thank you card, it's going to, in the mail, a handwritten one. Again, nobody does that. That's fantastic. But it's going to take a few days to get there. You can do the same day. You can actually do that email. So do them both.
Yeah.
Because again, every time you can touch them is another time they get to remember you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff.
Yeah. So here's
the
another idea. So did I ever tell you about my friend Tom Gay?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Tom is now in his 80s, and
is he a mountain climber?
No, that's Warren. That's Warner Berger.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So Tom started a software company a number of years ago, back in the 80s, and he wasn't a software guy, still isn't a software, like he doesn't program, he doesn't know how to program, but he has an idea for a piece of software, and then he hires and he builds a team of people that will do all the work. He's just the brain, he's just the idea guy. So he's still, to this day, he's in his 80s and he still doesn't program, but he has now started 4 companies. The first company he sold for $80 million. The second company he took public, and I don't remember, it was over 100 million he made from that. And then the third company he actually sold to Equifax.
Wow.
And he ended up doing he ended up not taking a lot of cash. He took a lot of stock. And so, yeah, and so he did really well. So and then just recently he started a company about 5 years ago. He started a company called Refer.com. You can look it up, REFER, Refer.com. And he built it up, and he had about 5,000 subscribers per month, paying various levels of subscription amount. And then he sold that company, I think, to a company in South Africa. And between starting and running and selling these companies, he and his wife spent 5 years. They're from San Diego. So middle-aged white couple goes to South Africa to start a nonprofit and get 3 warring tribes to work together in this nonprofit. And 5 years later, and they were all starving because they were spending all their time fighting. And 5 years later, they left and came back, and the 3 tribes were actually working together to run a plantation farming facility and all that kind of stuff. So they were feeding everybody. Wow. Yeah. Brilliant guy, really amazing guy. But the same concept, he kept recreating software. But it's the same concept, and it's really simple. And I had him speak at one of my events at one time. So here's the concept. It works for everybody who sells anything, whether they're a car salesman or a dentist, because dentists sell fillings, right? Chiropractors sell back cracking. Everybody's selling something, and the variations in the software had to do with the clientele. So he would do one for doctors, lawyers, dentists, people like that. Then he would do one for salespeople, and so like that. So, but the idea was the same. Here's how refer.com worked. What you would do is you would put a contact in there. You would have a meeting with that person, and it would tell you the kind of questions to ask them. You know, what are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? Do you have any kids? Do you just all the social stuff? Want to get to know you a little bit, right? So he would find out, and this is the story that he told at the event that he came to with me. He said, so there was, he said, when I was starting this idea, he said, I would go out to Chamber of Commerce meetings. I'd meet people. I go and have coffee with them. I'm sitting down with this lady, and so I say, so do you have kids? And she says, yes. And I said, so what do the kids do? Do they have hobbies? And she said, my daughter's into dressage. Do you know what dressage is? So it's that thing that Christopher Reeves did when he got hurt, jumping the horses.
Oh, okay.
That's dressage. So it's sort of English style with the helmet and the boots and all that kind of stuff. And
okay. Yeah.
Right. And so he said, so the lady said her daughter was into dressage. So he said, I went back to my office and I looked up dressage because I didn't know what it was. And he said, and I found a bunch of articles. And so he said, what I did is I printed down an article and I put it in my portfolio, my date book. And he said, when about a week later, I dropped by her office and I didn't ask to see her. I just had taken the printout, the article, and folded it up, put it in an envelope and wrote her name on it and put a little handwritten note on it. I just happened to notice this article, thought you'd be interested, and just left it with the secretary. And he said, so I started to ask people what their hobbies were, what they were doing, what their kids were doing, all that kind of stuff. And I just put those in my notes, in my database, in my CRM. And I would sit down each day for a few minutes and go through and look for articles. And sometimes I would just send them a text message about, hey, did you know, something like that? Or, hey, I just saw an article, here's the link. Or I would print it out and take it with me to stop by their office. And he said, here's the concept. At the end of the day, it's really simple. Give, ask. That's it. Give, ask. He said, so I would give them a little something and cost me nothing, and it was important to them. It needs to be valuable and important to them, but it didn't have to be a stupid coffee mug or a pen or anything like that. It was something that was really, truly valuable and important to them, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have to spend a bunch of money for lunch and all that kind of stuff. So he created a software program that's kind of already set up for you, and you just put your contacts in there and you start filling in that information, and the software does the research. The software goes out and finds the articles for you and comes up with, and all you got to do is like copy paste and send it to somebody. And it's all in your, it's a database management system. So all you do is go, click, and now I've got an email opened up for Joel with the information, the link already there, and I can then modify it a little bit to make it my own and hit send, and it's in there. And now in the CRM, it actually says I sent this note, this letter, this text, this whatever. Brilliant. Made hundreds of millions of dollars from that idea.
That is crazy.
Yep. You don't need the software, you can just, the concept is simple. And he actually said that. He said, so, Don asked me to come and tell you guys, what I do. And, I'm going to tell you the name of the company, but I don't really care whether or not you use it. If it makes it easier for you and you like the idea, that's great. I'm not selling my software here. I'm just giving you the idea. And so just a cool guy, just a really cool guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
gotta be honest with you, I'm really fortunate. I got some really cool friends.
Yeah. That is, how do you start 4 businesses?
Otherwise, I'd be an ordinary, boring guy, but I got a lot of cool friends and I can tell stories about them. So I get to be cool through osmosis.
Yeah, I need some cooler friends.
Yeah. So that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the key to that whole thing that Tom said is that you've got to be disciplined, because that system, that little system, as brilliant as it is, doesn't work
Mhm.
unless you actually put, and he knew about my LifeWorks system at that point. So he said, unless you make an appointment with yourself in your LifeWorks planner. And I was like, no, you didn't. He said, unless you make an appointment with yourself in your LifeWorks planner to actually do that research every day, it's just a few minutes. He said, none of it matters. It won't work for you. Doesn't do itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But the business that comes through, and this will work for you in Colorado too. You know, the business that will come to you from it is mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm excited if that happens to just be around my brother and see what he does.
Yeah.
Because he said now it's so easy to get agents. He said he can go one time and he'll have that agent for life. If it's a good agent, somebody else to work with, but he's like, he doesn't have to try anymore. It's just become so natural and second nature. So
That's it.
Yeah.
Modeling. Yeah. That was one of the most important things I learned from Tony Robbins when I first started following him and learning his material. Is he said, don't reinvent the wheel. Mirroring, matching, and modeling are techniques that will save you decades of trying to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Any other questions, thoughts before we shift gears?
I was kind of keeping track of the interruptions. That was kind of the thing we talked about last week.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that. Yep.
So Monday I had two just random phone calls out of the blue and two random realtor calls. So they interrupted me, but going back to money making activities, I got one application out of the phone call. So that's money making. I can't complain about that. And the realtor is just checking on stuff. So just by being up to date on all my files, being able to get information, it just okay, awesome. That puts them more confident in me.
That's money making.
Yeah. Tuesday, another random phone call happened, and then one of my coworkers came in. We just talked about some issues and just some BS for about 10-15 minutes. So that's kind of an interruption there. But it's still, we're talking about work, not just other stuff. So nothing too bad.
Good. Well, and sometimes, you might not even be talking about work at all, but the relationship with that person, is important to your workflow or whatever. Maybe it's your processor or something like that. And, you're just talking about, her little girl went to first grade, something like that, graduated from kindergarten, right? It's a big deal to her. And so, you spend a few minutes. That may not directly look like a money-making activity, but if there's two agents in the office, one that she loves, you, and one that she hates, guess whose files are going to get the attention? Whether it's conscious or not, that's just how it is. And so, evaluating the interruptions as to their value in the overall picture and an overall scheme of things is really important, because what it allows you to do is reframe that maybe these things that you were annoyed by, that you called interruptions, were really the things working.
For sure.
What they're calling you and you getting an application. I mean, and so now you feel good about those things that you used to feel bad about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
huge.
Yeah. Monday, I would say, as far as ranking, I'd say Monday was a 10. I got everything done on my calendar. I stuck with it, even with the interruptions. Yeah, Tuesday was probably about a 9. I did a pretty good Tuesday. Yesterday was about a 7 or 8. It was my wife's birthday, so we kind of did a few things together. Didn't have a super productive day
And a
But
sliver of cake.
a sliver of cake, just a little bit. I'm like, oh, I gotta send this to Dawn.
Yep.
But I spent a lot of good time with her. So on the relationship side, that was, important to her to
Yeah.
spend some of the day with her. So it's been a good week so far. Today's been off to a good start too, getting a lot of stuff done and yeah, really following the calendar a lot more structured. So
Good. And I mean, it's kind of one of those questions that you go, Don, you're going to really ask me that question again. But if you recognize that your emotional state allows you to access more or less of your mental faculties. When you have one of those days where you're just feeling like crap and you don't get to some of the things and you get to the end of the day and you go, oh, I forgot to do that, when you're emotionally down. But when you're on fire, when you're emotionally pumped, man, you do things and you go, I was halfway through the day and I got more done than I got in the last week. And so the question is, when you have a day that you consider a 10, how does that make you feel?
Monday was fantastic. Like it came in, just everything was done. Yeah, it was good.
Right. And so all there is to do is just get better at making days that are 10.
Yeah.
Because a successful life is nothing more than a bunch of successful days, one after the other. And you define what success is when it comes to health, when it comes to finances, when it comes to relationships, all of that, you get to define that. And then once you've defined this, as life works, right? Once you define this is what it looks like to be successful, then you just create successful days that have those elements in it. And it is a foregone conclusion. You can have any life you want as long as you know you can and you choose to. Yeah. So great job. Great job. And I see a big change in you already in your, I don't know if you can see this. If I didn't give you a mirror, it would be hard to see your eyes, right? So you may not be able to see this, but I can see an increase in your confidence. I might even go as far as saying swagger. There's just, you seem to, there seems to have been a shift. And again, you have on several occasions told me that your spectrum of emotional, expression isn't really wide, and that's okay. That makes it more dramatic when I can see a subtle change in someone whose emotional range isn't that wide. To see a change is significant.
Yeah, I would agree with you for sure. I don't think I've seen it, but I've felt it. I've definitely felt it. The way I talk to people and clients, I can definitely feel something that's different. So that's part of that goes back to you helping me. So I appreciate this time so much.
Yeah. And I appreciate being able to do this. I'm in the, in the autumn of my life, and I don't, I'm not at a place in my life where I go out and meet with people and remember to bring and so I don't have the opportunity to bring my journal. I don't have an opportunity to set the agenda. I don't have an opportunity to ask the questions. I don't have an opportunity to do all these things that I'm sharing with you. But I can actually perpetuate that, put that into the world, get satisfaction from knowing somebody else is going to have those skills, those ideas, those techniques, those concepts to be able to apply. And then as you move into a supervisory management role, hopefully you'll pass those things on. I trust that you will. You'll pass those things on to 3, 5, 7, 10, 12 other people. And if you ask them to pass those on, then the legacy continues. And so it's valuable to me as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right. So are we ready to talk about health and fitness?
Yeah. Did I send you my numbers from this morning? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did either.
Okay. Coming over to you.
I'm going to write this in my journal here. All right. So does your, I don't know if you can do it on your phone. I know you can actually do it when you're looking at it on the website. When you go to Map My Fitness, it'll do comparisons for you. Does it show on the phone? I never use it on the phone. That's why.
Are you talking where you put calories in?
No, I'm talking about body composition.
Oh. I forgot to do that, don't I? Let me check my mind here quick. Like the numbers from week to week.
Yeah, yeah. So what we're looking for, so week to week, we're going to be checking body composition, making sure that you're not losing any muscle, hopefully gaining some, but at least not losing muscle. And we're going to check and make sure you are losing body fat. So those are really the two, lean mass and week to week comparisons and body fat.
Okay.
And if you don't have it, you can just send it to me tomorrow, when you check tomorrow morning. Having that scale is just a huge help.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. I'll get it set up and send it tomorrow to you.
All right, that's cool.
So do you want me going on the scale Fridays or Thursdays before our meeting here?
Yeah, so if we're going to keep meeting, doing it all on Thursday, which is efficient. I mean, we're already here, and if it works for you, it works for me.
Yeah, it works.
And I also, because you were going, and then I realized after that when you said, well, I can't do it on Friday because I thought you might have said you were going, for Easter, you were going away. But then I thought I remembered you saying your mastermind meeting is at the same time. So I thought, well, okay, Friday's not going to work. So then I plugged in the referral rewards meeting in my calendar for Fridays at 9.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Well, now is your mastermind meeting at 11?
Yes, it is. Yep.
So that's not going to work for you. Shoot.
Well, when is it from?
Yeah. So what I was going to do is from 9 to 10 my time, which is 11 to 12 your time, which is when your mastermind meeting is.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So would it work if we moved it an hour? Like, are you open right after your mastermind meeting?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
So with the referral, what do you want to talk about in those meetings?
Yeah. So the idea I had was if we've got that time blocked off, we can come together and talk about, what are the issues? What are the challenges? Somebody might say, like John would probably say, all of my friends, all my warm market are all 9-to-5ers. They don't do anything with groups or network.
Okay.
They don't do anything like that, right? That's his issue. Somebody else might say, I just never seem to find the time. Somebody else might say it's something else. So we find out what the issues are.
Okay.
And then we talk about how we overcome those issues. But what I want to do is have a part of that meeting, maybe 15 minutes of that meeting, half an hour, whatever everybody deems is the right amount of time. So if we're meeting for an hour, we talk for 15 minutes about the issues, get those kind of resolved or at least strategized. And then we take a half an hour from, let's say we do it from, let's say we're doing it from noon to 1 your time. And we go from noon to 12:15, we're talking about the issues. And then from 12:15 to 12:45, we all actually stay on the Zoom, but go on to Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever we're going to reach out to people and start making those connections. And we actually take the time to do it right there. Send out those messages. And then we come back for the last 15 minutes and talk about, here's what I did. I was able to get 15 messages out. Oh, I got 27 out. I only got 9 out. Somebody responded to me right away. I have an appointment on Friday, right? So we kind of talk about what you actually did during that period of time. But it gives you that block of time to actually take action, because all good intentions, the road to failure is paved with good intentions, right? So intending to do it isn't going to do it, committing to do it. So this time would be a time where we can all do it together and talk about it together and build that community, right? So you've got, you're not the other part about it is, when you're doing this kind of stuff, it's kind of a lonely job. You feel like you're all alone, right? But if you're doing it with another group of people, all of a sudden there's camaraderie there.
Yeah, for sure. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, good, cool. So I already emailed everybody that it was going to be 9 and completely forgot that you already have a meeting then. So what I'll do is I'll ask everybody if, provided, we've got a bunch of people that show up or whatever, or people might say to me, that's not a good time for them. Then I'll try to bump it for an hour and bump it down to noontime, your time. And we'll see if that works better for everybody and for you and that kind of stuff. But we'll find a time that works for the majority of the people. And then what I think will need to happen is, as we grow, we're going to, I think we're going to find that, when there's 100 people, when there's 10 people, maybe one person can't make it at that prescribed time. It's 100 people, there's a lot of people that can't make it at a prescribed time.
Yeah.
So then we have the people that are in this first group, maybe run a separate group. They've already seen the model, they already know what to do. And we make a time, and then eventually we'd have a time, maybe, who knows, 3 months from now, we might have 2 times a day, in the morning and the afternoon or early evening, 2 times a day, Monday through Friday. So whenever someone can't, there's always going to be a time someone can make it, right?
Yeah.
And even if the groups are only 2, 3, 4 people, at least you're not by yourself.
Yeah. And you have that kind of time block to do that stuff.
Say it again.
And you kind of have almost your week time blocked. Focus on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
So if you do the thing from 11 to noon my time, would you do like the shooting out messages from like noon to 12:30 or 12:45 right after?
Yeah, I'll talk to the people that are in the group and say, how much time do we think we need? Do we want to set a time? If we're going to say, this is an hour meeting, if we're going to say we're going to meet for 15 minutes at the beginning, 15 minutes at the end, we got a half an hour in the middle to get that done. Is that enough time? And we'll see. I think I'm going to suggest that, and we'll see if people say, well, I think that I'd probably only be able to do like 15 minutes or whatever. We'll say, well, okay, well, so we'll adjust it to whatever it is. And if we only need, if people only need 15 minutes, then we might say, well, okay, so let's make it a half an hour meeting and we'll have a little conversation, 10 minutes at the beginning, 10 minutes at the end. And,
yeah, for sure.
We'll adjust it to whatever we need to. And who knows? People might say, yeah, I'd really like to have more time. Can we make it a 90-minute meeting? I'm good with it either way. I just wanted to serve everybody. And I just feel like if we have that, because if we had, like on Wednesday mornings, we have that hour set aside, everybody's there. They're not doing anything else. They're actually there.
Right.
So if we commit that time, it's committed. Now we use it effectively to actually start and if we do it on Friday, here's why I said, I thought Friday would be good, is because you can send a message and people can look at it over the weekend. And then you can send them a reminder message on Monday and say, hey, by the way, did you get a chance to watch that 2.5-minute video? And then still have a little bit of time to connect with them to get them prepared to come to Wednesday, right?
Okay.
So Friday, the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, to get your guests there on Wednesday. Gives you quite a bit of running room.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if the majority are for the time now, I'll work around that,
Yeah. I'd like to try to adjust it because, you're one of the key people that has had the commitment right from the beginning, and I'd like to adjust it around your schedule if we can. I'd really like for you to be there.
Okay.
The energy that you bring is important to the rest of the group and your commitment level.
Okay. Well, yeah, other than that, Friday would work, or just 11 to noon is the mastermind. So
yeah. So if you would block it out from noon to 1 your time so that you have it, I'll go ahead and ask the group, because I already sent it out. We'll meet with everybody and ask them if we could bump it just an hour for the following meeting. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. And so let's find out what worked for you last week with regard to the health and fitness. What do we want to keep doing that worked?
The calories, the 1,500, I think is going well.
Okay. I
don't feel hungry. The Easter weekend is a little tougher to get through just with the food there. Mm-hmm. I don't think I made ground. I don't think I lost ground. I weighed Monday morning. I was about 226, 227. I weighed 225.8 this morning when I did all the calculations. So
you lost 2 pounds for the week, roughly?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay. So if that was when you find out the body composition, if that was just fat and you didn't lose any muscle, that's a huge win. That's a couple pounds a week is really good.
I think there was some muscle mass that I lost.
Okay.
Which I had about 150 grams of protein almost every day. I really try and shoot for that.
Okay. Okay.
Go to my muscle mass last week, April 1st, was 172.2. It was 171.8.
Wait, give it to me. So the first week you checked it was what?
April 1st, it was 172.2 pounds.
172.2 lean. Okay.
Yeah, that's the muscle mass.
Yep.
Yesterday, it was 171.8. So I guess that's not really a whole lot, maybe like
No,
half.
that's let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's not quite a half a pound. It's something. It's it's definitely going in the wrong direction. So we want to make an adjustment for that.
Okay.
Today is so that was 4.7, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, so if you can check it on Thursday morning, so we'll be able to talk about it, that would be great. And
Okay.
I'll keep a running list. So your body fat on the first was what?
Do you want my weight?
Do you know what the percentage of body fat was?
Yes, body fat percentage was 19% on April 1st.
19%. Okay, great. And do you have it for today?
It was 18.9.
Okay, so that's going in the right direction. All right, so you lost slightly a little bit of lean mass and you lost a little bit of, do you know you've got the percentage, do you have also the weight? How many pounds of fat back on 4.1?
Let's see, weight. Do you want what I weighed?
No, the body, the amount of, so when you gave me the number of pounds in lean mass.
Yep.
What we're looking for is the number of pounds in body fat.
Okay. See if I have weight, BMI, body fat percentage, body water, skeletal muscle, BMR, fat-free body weight.
No, that's the opposite.
Yeah, there's subcutaneous fat, visceral fat. I don't know if it shows that. Muscle mass, bone mass, protein, and body age.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I can actually calculate it, so give me a quick second. So we had, was it 19% even?
Last week, yeah.
Okay, so 19.0, all right. So 19, so your total weight was what?
226.6.
226.6 times 0.19. So your fat in pounds was 43.05. So if we take, and what was your weight today?
225.8.
Times 0.189 equals. So your pounds of body fat today is 42.67. So if we say 43.05 minus 42.67, you actually lost about a third of a pound. So 0.38. So you're down 0.38. All right, so here's what we need to do. We're gonna make a couple of adjustments. Let's have you go to, let's have you try to go to 175 grams of protein.
Okay.
If you need to do like a protein shake to get that extra, because sometimes the more protein you're eating, it's harder to get that protein, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would still eat your regular meals, but then throw a protein shake in there to get the extra 20. So one of these, by the way, they changed the container. I don't know if you've gone to the store. These are both exactly the same product.
Okay.
But this is the new packaging right now.
Okay.
So that, you know, if you just added in one of these shakes, now you've got that extra 20%. If you don't use these shakes, be really careful. If you use some other kind of shake, be really careful of the number of carbs, the amount of sugar that's in it, because most protein shakes have a ton of sugar in them. This one actually doesn't. The carbs are the net carbs are really low. The net carbs are like 8 carbs in this product. That's really low. So you don't want to add any carbs, just the extra protein. Now, if that doesn't work, here's another really easy way to do this. If you're willing to, a can of tuna fish, like 4-ounce can of tuna fish, almost no fat, 0 carbs, and about 20 grams of protein.
I used to eat that a lot back in the day.
Just open the can and eat it, because we're not talking about, you know, sitting down to a 5-star meal. We're talking about fueling the body and giving the body what it needs to cut the fat and build the muscle, right? So that's actually a better option. Most people can't even imagine just sitting down and eating a can of tuna fish. I eat it right out of the can.
I love tuna fish right out of the can.
Yeah, good. And do that. Just add a can of tuna fish a day. So
the protein shakes.
Yep, we need 7 cans of tuna fish this week.
Yeah.
One a day.
Yeah. The protein shakes that you buy, they're from Costco. They're like Fairlife. They have 100.
Go ahead.
150 calories. They're pretty much identical to the ones. I checked the ingredients on both of them. So the total carbs are 4 grams, sugar is 2 grams, 150 calories, 30 grams of protein. So I think it's a decent shake. They're from Costco too.
So ingredients, is it a plant-based or is it what kind of protein are they using?
I don't believe it is plant-based. I'll have to look when I go home tonight.
And that's not that much of an issue. The body has a little harder time processing animal protein than plant protein. And so your body's it's just a little more wear and tear on your body, and a little more energy that your body has to use that you don't now have available to use for a workout, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the other thing that I wanted to ask you. So we'll track it this week. We'll track it this way each week. I've got a page for lean mass for you, and I've got a page for body fat. We'll keep an eye on it. So you went in the right direction for body fat, but we want to increase the cardio to be able to burn up some more. You're toning the muscles, which is great. That's where the fat gets burned. The fat actually gets burned in the cells of the muscle. And so the more efficiently the muscles work, the more toned they are, and the more muscle cells you have, the more calories you burn, right? So you want to keep those muscles toned. We're going to add some protein to increase to try not to lose any lean mass and maybe even gain a little bit. The cardio is now going to help you to be able to burn more calories. So tell me a little bit how the cardio has been going. You were doing 2 miles and now you did 3 miles. I saw that.
Yeah, this week has been good. On Sunday, I ran 2 miles. Monday and yesterday, I worked out, did the PP SC. I know the exercises. And then Tuesday, I ran 3 miles. And then today, I'll get out and run 3 miles here.
Okay.
So this week's been going good.
So what I'd like to invite you to consider is you can actually get more calories burned in doing cardio with some HIIT training, and so just calisthenics. So you don't need any equipment, you don't need you don't need to go to the gym or anything like that. And if it's okay with you, I'll put together like 5 exercises and and you know and then just while you're doing your hold on, someone keeps trying to call me and they don't understand when I send them to voicemail that I want them in voicemail. Anyway, so interruptions, there you go. Yeah, when you're doing your push-ups and all that kind of stuff, work in about 15 minutes, just 15 minutes of this HIIT training. And so you'll do like 3 minutes for 5 different exercises. And you'll do like 30 seconds and then 30 seconds at high intensity, and then 15 seconds of low of just resting, and then and catch your breath as best you can. But here's what you'll probably find: you really can't fully catch your breath. And that's the actual reason why you're going to burn more calories.
Okay.
When you're not quite back all the way, your body's still kind of struggling. And so, and it's only 15 minutes, and it's actually going to turn out to be more like maybe 13 minutes altogether. So it's really kind of short. But because of those bursts, you're using both anabolic energy and anabolic energy and what's the opposite of anabolic energy? Anyway.
I know it's.
Yeah, it just escaped me. It was right there on the tip of my tongue. I saw it. Anyway, so you'd be using both kinds of energy. So you'll be using body fat, but you'll also be using the sugars that are stored in your liver. And then, so it's going to be really important to be able to have some protein before and after the workout, and some carbs after the workout. So try to, help some healthy carbs. Again, be kind of careful of protein bars. It's so easy to go, well, I'm eating healthy, I grabbed a protein bar, and then you look and it's 23 grams of sugar.
I kind of got away from protein bars.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excess stuff in them. Yeah,
good. Yeah. So just something, something healthy, right? So if you can grab, I happen to keep a big bags of frozen vegetables. And if I don't, I prefer to stir fry them because I like the kind of brownness on them. But if I don't have the time, I'll just grab a bunch, throw it in a bowl, throw it in the microwave, and a couple minutes later, I'm eating vegetables, great carbs, and of course, if they're organic, they're even better. They got micronutrients in it as well. So I try to make sure that you have some carbs right after that to kind of replenish the sugars in your liver, but it'll also burn more fat as well.
Okay.
So try that. Now, are you doing the resistance training? How many times a week?
3 times, and then run 3 times.
Okay. Do you think you could bump that up to 4?
Yeah, I could.
So if you did Monday, Tuesday, took Wednesday off to recover, and did Thursday and Friday, and then you got the weekend to recover, that would probably be an efficient way to do it.
Well, I've been trying to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
Kind of workout, and then runs in between, like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Gotcha.
So like 6 days a week of doing something, and just kind of rest one day.
Okay. So if you want to keep that schedule, but just add to the 3 times a week that you do the resistance training, add that 15 minutes of cardio in there.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll check these numbers again next week. Remember, what we're fighting against is the metabolic damage. Everybody's body works differently and works in a different, at a different efficiency level. So we've got to kind of keep trying stuff. We see what the results were, and they go, okay, well, if we lost a little muscle mass, that means protein. If we didn't lose enough fat, that means cardio, and those kinds of things. So we'll just keep adjusting until you're in the flow and you're losing about 2 pounds. If you can lose 2 pounds of muscle, 2 pounds of body fat per week, and maybe gain a half a pound of muscle a week, that would be ideal. That'd be really healthy, and you'd make progress really fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Not to get all scientific on you, but that's what we're trying to do.
Gotcha.
All right.
I haven't seen 225 at all on the scale for a while, so it was nice to see that. Yeah, at least I'm going in the decline as far as weight.
Yep.
Hopefully, let's not lose any more muscle, but results are coming.
Yeah, but we got to remember this is the very early stages, and we're really in experimentation right now. Once you get that tweaked in, and you have 2 or 3 or even 4 weeks of losing a couple of pounds of fat, gaining a half a pound of muscle, then you're streamlined, right? But right now, we don't know how to do that. We're just checking, we're testing, and we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're making progress even now, that's just a bonus. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I hit a milestone myself today. I got on the scale for the first time in many years. And the scale, I should have taken a picture of it. I didn't even think of it, but it was 200.0.
Nice.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah. My goal was to be under 200 by Friday, and I hit 200 this morning. So should be there. So yeah. I'm right there with you, and I hope that gives you some comfort that the guy that's trying to help you is actually doing it himself.
That's a lot of credibility.
Yep. Cool.
And I know you're doing them just for other people, a lot of credibility.
Yeah, yeah. I want to be healthier. The primary reason is my kids, my grandkids, and my wife, right? But if it
Mhm.
motivates the people I'm working with like this to say, well, he's an old fart, but he's still doing it. So, it's going to be hard for you to find excuses if I'm doing
Right, yeah.
it.
I got a story to share.
Go
My
ahead.
brother was doing maybe a half marathon or like a 10K or something. And he's running, he's tired out. And this older guy passes him, and on the back of his shirt, it says, older than 50, diabetic, overweight, ahead of you.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just like, my brother saw that, he felt just so bad.
Yeah,
Cause
that's
he
brilliant.
was, that was probably like 5, 10 years ago, he was in his, early 30s, so
That's brilliant. I love that.
yeah,
I want
I've
to.
never forgot that.
At one point I actually I don't know I had this idea for like a t-shirt, right? And so I said, gee, let me write that down. I created a file in Google, and I created a Word doc, and I wrote that down. And then I thought of another idea, and I said, well, I'll write that down too. Before I stopped, I had 50 different sayings that I wanted to put on t-shirts, like, and sometimes you see the t-shirts like old guys rule and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So they're kind of cool. Do you remember you're too young to remember this probably, so somebody probably told you if you remember. There was a product when I was a kid called Geritol.
Geritol. It maybe sounds a little familiar, but
So
tell
there
me
was
about it.
a commercial on TV, and I don't even know what it was. I think it was cod liver oil or something like that. Because like when I was a kid and when my dad was a kid, people used to give their kids a spoonful of cod liver oil because it's healthy for you, right? Fish, now today we talk about fish oils, right? But that's what it
Mhm.
was. Nasty tasting, but healthy for you. So Geritol was a product for people as they got older, and the tagline was that it helps with iron poor tired blood. Well, they had to take the commercial off the air because there's no such thing as iron poor tired. There's no such thing as tired blood, right? That was their tagline. Do you remember when there was an advertisement by the Dairy Association for milk? Does a body good?
Yeah.
Yeah. The advertising council made them take it off the air because actually that's a lie. It's inaccurate. It's truth in lending, the truth in, the truth in advertising law didn't allow them to be able to put that on the air. So
Mm.
milk actually does just the opposite of what the Dairy Association has been touting for years. They say drink milk for for strong bones and teeth, right? Milk, because of the ratio with the amount of protein that it has, actually leaches calcium from bones, makes them weaker.
Really?
Yeah. Well, all the studies, it's so funny because all the studies, all the information is out there, but people just don't still are being conditioned by advertising. But anyway, so the only countries that experience osteoporosis, which is a weakening of the bone,
Mhm.
are the countries that drink cow's milk.
Oh, wow.
In other countries
Crazy.
where they don't drink cow's milk, they have no cases.
Wow.
Pretty conclusive evidence, right? Yeah.
Interesting. Never
Yeah.
heard that before.
Yeah. And I remember at one time you had said that, you probably drink more milk than you should or whatever.
Oh, you used to drink a lot of milk.
Yeah. 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 So it's really, I mean, we're the only species in the world that drinks the milk of somebody else's, some other species.
Hmm.
Doesn't even make any sense. So created a whole industry on something that hurts people. Oh, well, that's pretty common, isn't it?
Yeah. It sounds about right with
Yeah.
smoking, tobacco, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any
Interesting.
other questions, thoughts, ideas? Those are the two tweaks for this
Okay.
week, and I'll send you that. Oh, one other question. How important is it to you, besides the aesthetics, of looking better, and how important is it for you to improve things like strength and endurance and flexibility?
Pretty high, definitely a solid 9 or so, because I don't have a whole lot of flexibility. I'm very stiff, and just the endurance piece and strength piece, I think that just helps and
Okay.
keeps you going every day and just keeps you healthy. So
Here's the reason why I ask. When I was doing the Insanity program, Sean T had included in the you familiar with that?
yeah.
Okay. So in the package, he had a fit test, and so he had a DVD, and you would watch it, and he would show you how to do it, and then you would do the fit test. So they had a bunch of exercises, and then each it was a 60-day program, and I think every 15 days you did, you repeated the fit test to see the progress you were making, which I thought was brilliant. I wouldn't use the same one because the Insanity is intense. I mean, you've really already got to be in really great shape to do that stupid program. I mean, it's really, really real. But I came up with 5 different exercises that we could do. So what I'll do is I'll give you those 5 exercises, and then you can tell me. So for each, so like sit-ups, for instance, how many can you do before you can't do another one? Right? And push-ups, the same thing, and squats, the same thing. So there's like 5 of them. And so do as many as you can do to failure, and then send me that list, and I'll track it in here. And then we'll have at the 20th, because we're doing a 100-day challenge. And we probably should have done, I just thought of the idea yesterday, but we probably should have done that on day 1. But we're still pretty close. We're still in early stages.
Yeah.
Do it now, and then we'll do it at day 25. Then we'll do it day 50. Then we'll do it at 75. Then we'll do it at 100. And then you'll be able to see how you've improved in strength and flexibility and endurance and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome. All right. I'll send that to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Was this helpful today?
Oh yeah, always helpful.
All right. Good. And don't forget to send me that recap email when you get a minute.
Okay.
All right.
I'll do that.
Bye,
All right. See you later.